Good check your name. You already did that. Oh, did you? Is it a wedding? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you, and welcome to the August meeting of the Randolph County Board of Commissioners, and we will officially call this meeting to order and welcome each one of you here today. Our year is moving right along, and we're at least getting a little reprieve from all the heat, and things are looking good, and we're glad to have each one of you here tonight. Several items on our agenda, the significance and importance and recognizing some folks that's done a lot for the county, and we appreciate that. And again, welcome each and every one of you. Those that are at home or watching us on YouTube, we thank you also for participating in our meeting. So with that, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. Chaplain Bill Hatfield will here to do this evening. Please remove your caps and stand, and we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you for the honor of being here. We're going to pray, but first, before we pray, I want to read a Bible verse, just one verse. Isaiah 41:10. It says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Amen. That's who we're praying to. What a big God we serve. And every time I'm always amazed when I look at that right there. In God we trust. Without him, we might as well just pack it up and go home. Hallelujah. We got a big God on our side. Amen. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this promise. This is for us today. For anyone that comes before you and says, "Help me, Lord. I trust you, Lord." You will open up the gates of heaven and you'll provide all the strength, the wisdom, the know-how, the finances. Whatever we need, you're ready to provide. So, Father, we come to you, the creator of the universe, the one that's holding us together, and you're here. You see what's going on here. You know what's needed here. For the commissioners this evening, for Randolph County, for all the departments, for the people that are listening at the sound of my voice, you know the need. And we come to you and ask you to provide that need, whatever that may be. Thank you for our country. And Lord, as always, when I say the Pledge of Allegiance, I encourage us to do this as well. Not only to make a pledge, to make it a prayer. Because boy, do we need the things that we're pledging about and to. We love you, Lord. We praise you. We thank you for our country. Oh, we pray for our country. Pray for our county. We love you, Lord. We thank you, and we give you praise again in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Our next item this afternoon is a special recognition. We have another retiree from the Sheriff's Department, and we're here to recognize Sabrina Honeycutt, who has been here for 30 years. And we're going to ask the sheriff to come forward and do the honors.
Before I get started, I'd like to recognize someone else. Our next meeting will be in September, and we'll go past a very important date of August 14th. And I understand a little birdie told me Daryl Fry's having a big birthday on that day, number 80. So congratulations, and I hope you have a great birthday.
Thank you.
Deputy Sabrina Honeycutt began her career in Randolph County Sheriff's Office in July of 1995 as a jailer. She became a certified detention officer in 1996 and was promoted to corporal in May of 1997. While working at the detention center, she attended basic law enforcement training through Randolph County Community College. In February of 2003, she was sworn in as a deputy and was transferred to the sheriff's office at front desk. She continued BLET training and completed it in May of 2004. In July 2010, Deputy Honeycutt moved to the Community-Based Programs Division, taking on the role of School Resource Officer. She obtained her School Resource Officer certificate in August 2010 and continued to serve as an SRO for the rest of her career. During her career, Sabrina often stepped up and voluntarily assisted with other divisions without being asked to do so. She was a valued asset to the Community-Based Programs Division. She, as well, is well liked and respected among the Randolph County Sheriff's Office and the Archdale Trinity community, where she was assigned as an SRO. She has always gone above and beyond to help others in need while upholding professional standards. Her law enforcement family will feel her absence and miss her greatly when she retires on August 1st, 2025. She is recognized for 30 years of dedicated service to the Randolph County Sheriff's Office and to the citizens of Randolph County. And Sabrina, if you would come up, please. I told her she only had 10 minutes to speak. So if you would like to say a few words.
I'm not much of a public speaker, so I'm just going to say thank you. You guys have been great. I've enjoyed my 30 years of service. I've made a lot of friends. I've experienced a lot of things out in the community. It's been a long, good career, and I appreciate you guys. And it's hard for me to say goodbye, but I know it's time. It's time for me to let the younger generation come up and take my place. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to pray for them and watch them as they go out and do the job that I did once before. But I'm going to still reach out to the community and say hey a few times and maybe help out with the school system some and sub a little bit and reach out to some of the kids that I see out in the community. But I'm still going to be around. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sheriff, for keeping me on.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of my supervisors I've had, for all the support. They've helped me make it to this point, because without them, I wouldn't be here. And without you guys, without everybody in the community support, I wouldn't be here. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Go around there and shake the hand.
Sabrina, thank you for all your service. That's about as good a speech as been made at this point. We appreciate it. On behalf of all the citizens, your co-workers here, God bless you for the future. You've seen a lot of changes, and you've been through several administrations, but you've been dependable and served this county, and especially with the families and the school children. I know in our community, seen you there, and you've meant a lot, made a great mark for the future, and we thank you for that. In grateful appreciation to Sabrina Honeycutt, in recognition of 30 years of service, August the 4th, 2025, by the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. May God bless you. Okay, our next item is public comment period, and I will ask Mr. Morgan to read the rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The rules of procedure for the public comment period are as follows. The public comment period will be limited to 15 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. If more time is required, it will be at the discretion of the board. Each speaker must give his or her name both orally and in writing before speaking. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Comments are to be directed to the board as a whole and not to one individual commissioner. Response, discussion, or action concerning issues raised during the public input session will be at the discretion of the board. Speakers will be courteous in their language and presentation. Speakers should not discuss matters which concern the candidacy of any person seeking public office or matters in current or anticipated litigation.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Jamie Garnett.
This is my first time. I am Jamie Garnett, and I'm a local pastor's wife, and I have worked for Doctors Brian and Cheryl Freeman for 25 years. I'm also a mental health coach. I am here as an advocate for the children of our county, children who have entered the court system through no fault of their own. I'm here to ask for stronger support and investment in our local guardian ad litem program. It saved a child's life this past year. As you know, the guardian ad litem program provides trained, court-appointed volunteers who advocate for the best interest of abused, neglected, and dependent children. These children are often thrust into confusing, chaotic situations, navigating a legal system that can feel impersonal and overwhelming. A guardian ad litem gives them a voice, someone whose sole focus is their safety, stability, and future. But here's the truth. The guardian ad litem program is under-resourced, they are stretched thin, and volunteers carry more cases than they reasonably should. Staff are worked beyond capacity, and that means that some children, the most vulnerable in our community, may not get the focused advocacy they desperately need. So the support I'm asking for isn't just financial, it's structural, it's moral. It's a commitment from our county that we not allow any child to fall through the cracks simply because their advocate is overwhelmed or unavailable. So investing in this guardian ad litem strengthens our entire child welfare system. It reduces time children spend in foster care. It improves permanency outcomes. And it brings the voice of the child directly into decisions that impact their lives forever. This program saves money in the long run, but more importantly, it saves lives, futures, and hope. So today, I encourage you to prioritize funding for the guardian ad litem program in the upcoming budget cycle. Partner with us on public awareness campaigns to recruit more volunteers, and explore ways to integrate the guardian ad litem program more closely with county services to improve outcomes. And let Randolph County be the county that shows children that they're not forgotten. Thank you for your time and for standing up for those who can't always speak for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barney. And we do have an item on our agenda today to recognize child awareness for the county.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
It
comments
saved our
today.
lives this year.
Thank you.
Isaac Hoffman.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Isaac Hoffman. Okay. You begin each meeting with prayer, yet have relinquished your duties from the Bible that you pray over. You choose the position of shepherd of the people of Randolph County. That means all of the people equally and fairly. Selective assistance to help a few is not God's plan. We are here every month as the downtrodden by those who travel to shoot at task, a range in a residential community without thought or care for others. You, the commissioners, are elected to a position that demands fairness and considered opinion. As a reminder, Peter chapter 5, verse 2 and 3, be shepherd of God's flock that is under your care, watching over them not because you must, but because you are willing, as God wants you to be, not pursuing dishonest gain, but eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock. Philippians chapter 2, verse 3, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 23. Be sure to know the condition of your flock. Give careful attention to your herds. Romans chapter 12, verse 8. If it is not to lead, do it diligently. Is it to show mercy? Do it cheerfully. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous thrive, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan. Titus chapter 1, verse 7. Since an overseer manages God's household, he must be blameless, not overbearing, not quick-tempered, not given to drunkenness, not violent, not pursuing dishonest gain. I know tonight's minister would agree I can quote many more. If it were to use other religious books, which I should, as task is so diverse that it is the reason Mr. Mendenhall gives for being open to religious holidays. Non-Christians should be allowed to shoot on Christmas Day. I recommend that it would be respectful to be closed for all religions and their holidays and festivals. Some have respect for others. You are elected as commissioners to shepherd the flock. Show you care. Thank you.
Fritz Wang.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Fritz Wang. I'm here this evening to talk about the gun range on Fuller Mill Road. At the last Commissioner meeting, Chairman Fry made it very clear that he is not friends with Mont Mendenhall, the property owner where the gun range is located. But the lack of responsiveness from this board and the lack of engagement by the board with us, the local neighbors affected by the noise, sure make it looks to me like this board is strongly biased toward protecting the property owner, the gun club, or both. Without clear answers to our questions, I think you can appreciate how some people might come to their own conclusions about why there seems to be this bias. If this board is not protecting the property owner and task, why won't you create noise level restrictions for this non-conforming use of RA zone property? We were told that there are legalities or some rule that prevents you. Why won't you provide us with a copy of or a citation to the rule that you claim is preventing you from creating such restriction? We were told that the county has already made the decision to allow the gun range to operate. Why won't you provide us with documentation of the decision that was made that allows this gun range to operate? How is it that this hypothetical decision appears to mean to you that the gun range can now operate as untouchable in perpetuity? If you believe that the January 2020 meeting where the County Board of Review decided that task is not a business is in fact the point where this decision was made, how is it that you ignore the sworn testimony of some of the participants of that meeting, including the gun club's own lawyer, and documents that were entered as evidence that all show that the only purpose of the meeting was to determine the tax status of the gun club, nothing more? Why is Darrell Fry the only commissioner who appears to have any say in this matter, and the only one to meet with some of the residents, both in July of 2001 and in February of this year? So many whys and hows. Please, let's start having some answers. Thank you.
Amy Wang.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Amy Wang. I hope you all had a good, relaxing weekend. I did not. The weather was rainy Saturday morning, but that didn't stop gun club members from beginning shooting just after 9 a.m. and continuing throughout the day. Shooting included semi-automatic and large caliber weapons that even managed to shake the windows in my house. I have a lovely screened-in porch on my house that I was not even able to enjoy my morning coffee outside. When they really began to ramp things up, I could even hear them clearly inside, with all doors and windows closed. I have outdoor animals, and they seemed on edge during the blasting. Sunday, they didn't start till just after noon, only because that's not until they open, and the blasting was just as bad. My neighbor down the street, who lives closer to the range, has to use OSHA-certified earplugs to be able to rest during the day in his own house, as he has medical issues. He said that all his indoor pets were hiding under the covers with him due to the noise. We cannot soundproof our properties or all our homes and should not have to. I should be able to be anywhere on my property and not have to listen to gunfire from 600 plus people who do not live here. I have no issue hearing gunfire from other residents on their own properties, as this is not nearly as frequent or as loud, and it is their right to use their properties for their own enjoyment. Too bad I can't use my property for my enjoyment of a quiet weekend barbecue or picnic. Sound mitigation needs to be as close to the source of the sound or it's not going to be effective. It will not affect the ability of the club members to use the range if proper sound mitigation strategies are employed. We have been going around the neighborhood surveying residents about their feelings about the range, and the vast majority are not in favor of it. Many residents express fear of reprisals if they were to complain. The only plus I see to the range is that it has resulted in my meeting more of my neighbors as we come together in unity about this problem. One neighbor told me, 30 years ago, I had a young family. I wanted someplace to raise them up like I was, have a good home, a few chickens, a little garden, friendly neighborhood, just a little more modern than what my grandparents had. After I invested every dollar I had, 26 years ago they moved in. Slowly at first, some small caliber rifles, shooting cans and targets an hour or two every weekend. Then came the bowling pins on the shelves, on the 3/4-inch thick metal shelves, and the missed shots ricochet, punching holes in it, and it's just gotten worse since then. We do not want to be here, but you have given us no other choice. We will continue coming here until we get the results we so desperately need. I have lost over $60,000 in value of my property due to this issue, and who knows what mental and physical health issues this may result in. I cannot just go away. Thank you.
Ed Leeds.
Why are we here? Why are you here? When I would talk to Amy and Isaac about different issues of the gun range that the board might be interested in, they would always respond with, they don't care. I thought that couldn't be true. These people have gone through an election or a re-election to be placed in the leadership of a county, and both of these things require money and time. Why would they be here if they don't care about the people of Randolph County? Or maybe they care about some of the people, but not all of the people. Last month, a group of concerned citizens reported in this meeting about a neighbor that it was exploding bombs to celebrate a car race that he had won, to the point of destruction to their property. Did you do anything about that? Or is it the responsibility of the property owners to secure their china cabinets better, or just live with it until the next car race wins or won? We are asking for the same thing. Shut down the nonprofit gun range until they can contain the noise to their own property. This is the 10th month, maybe 11th, I don't know about that number, but that we have been here asking you for help in this matter. But you keep saying that there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. I don't believe that's true. I think that there's nothing that you want to do or that you care to do. I wonder if there's any way that we can bring the gun range to your neighborhood. Maybe then you would care, but probably not. Because you can't hear it. How many of you have been to the gun range when they're firing? How many of you went to the gun range or stand outside when they're firing? I would ask for a show of hands, but you know, I'm starting to think that Amy and
Mr.
Isaac
Mr. Leitz, that's your time.
are right, that you just don't care.
Sybil Murray.
All right. Ooh, there we go. All right. All right. This is a resolution that the Save Our State of the Community Group has sent to our Senator Amy Galey and our Representative Robert Reeves. And so I want to read it to you. All right. Whereas Senate Bill 205 was originally a bill concerning regulations on swimming pools and only was amended to including sweeping provisions, switching control of local planning and zoning authority from local county planning boards to a state set of universal guidelines when the original bill, HB 765, Save the American Dream Act, did not meet the crossover deadline. Whereas SB 205 proposes significant alterations to local planning and zoning authority, therefore impacting the ability of local governments to represent the interest and will of their citizens. And whereas local governments have historically served as the primary guardians of the rights of their residents, facilitating in-person attendance and public comment on zoning decisions through established public hearing processes, thus ensuring that citizens can actively participate in matters affecting their communities. And whereas SB 205 would effectively mandate numerous planning and zoning decisions currently under local jurisdiction, diminishing the community's authority to uphold public health, safety, and welfare. And whereas SB 205 prohibits local governments from enacting or enforcing more restrictive development regulations, authority limitations, or requirements than those expressly provided by the state law or rule governing a particular subject matter, if any, except for regulations pertaining to floodplain management. And whereas SB 205 amends GS 160D-702 regarding local government authority to adopt zoning regulations and prohibits applying these prohibited regulations to any zoning district or conditional district without exception. Whereas SB 205 prevents local government from requiring, enforcing, or incorporating into zoning regulations any deed restriction not specifically authorized by law. Current law only prevents local governments from imposing conditions or requirements not required by law and allows parties to consent to such things in writing. Requiring, enforcing, or incorporating into the zoning regulations any condition or requirement that the courts have held to be unenforceable if imposed directly by local government. Whereas SB 205 contains other details with respect to local zoning and planning which shift control of these activities from the local level to the state level. And whereas Chapter 160D of the North Carolina General Statutes mandates comprehensive planning and zoning, a framework that would be severely compromised by the passage of SB 205, thus eroding citizen input and trust. And whereas local governments, with the active participation of their citizens, are best positioned to recognize and enforce the need for planning and zoning ordinances that reflect local values and priorities. And whereas the Save Our Staley SOS Community
Mrs. Murray,
Group
Mrs.
believes
Murray.
that local governments
Mrs.
are
Murray.
best suited to represent their citizens
Murray.
on local matters. All right, therefore be it resolved.
Miss Murray.
Therefore be it resolved
Miss
that
Murray.
the Save Our Staley Community Group
Sybil,
in
we've already
northeastern
taken a
Randolph County
position on
formally opposes
Miss Murray.
SB 205.
Ms. Murray, if you want to, probably the best thing is for just you to hand that up.
Okay.
And we
All
can
right.
make that a,
All right.
and we can make that a part of the record. We just want to be respectful for everyone's time. We
I
have
got
these-
you. I got you. I got it in.
Sybil,
I got it in.
We have
I got
taken
it
a
in.
position to oppose all that.
Say what now?
We have taken I wrote.
I got that. What?
multiple
All right.
things.
Very good.
Our whole
Very
state
good.
association is working to defend.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Is that it? Okay. All right. So right now, we will approve our agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. Consent and new business. Further discussion. Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it's approved. First item is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, can we pull item E off for separate conversations on the consent agenda?
Mr. Attorney, we've already adopted the budget, or the agenda. Do we have flexibility to go back?
If there's a motion, then the board votes to do so, yes.
I make a motion then to pull off consent agenda E for further conversation.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All right. It will move to new business.
Which item do you want to make that? F?
F, new business F. Okay, first item under, let's see. Is there a motion on the amended consent agenda?
Yes, sir, I make a motion, we approve the remainder of the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it's approved. Under new business, the Randolph County Senior Adult Association request. Floyd, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Fry, County Commissioners, and senior county staff. I'm Floyd Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of the Randolph Senior Adults Association, and part of my role includes serving as Chair of the Randolph County Aging Services Planning Committee, or ASPC. I'm here tonight to share the ASPC committee recommendation for the Home Care Community Block Grant. It's commonly known as the block grant, and so I may refer to it as that, and that's what I'm referring to. This funding is pass-through federal and state money that is used to serve senior adults here in Randolph County. The Aging Services Planning Committee is making a block grant recommendation to this board to approve the new home care and community block grant contract for 3 years, starting July 1 of 2025 and running through June 30 of 2028. The service providers recommended are the two current ones in this, the one that just expired, and that's the Randolph Senior Adults Association and Regional Consolidated Services. The contract services provided include adult daycare, congregate nutrition, home-delivered meals, information and options counseling, and transportation, all provided by Randolph Senior Adults Association. Regional Consolidated Services will provide home health aid levels 1, 2, and 3, as well as housing and home improvement. The total block grant allocation to Randolph County is $986,443, and the Aging Services Planning Committee unanimously recommends that RSAA, the Randolph Senior Adults Association, receive $677,711, and Regional Consolidated Services receive $308,732. And we respectfully request your approval this evening. If approved, I will need Chairman Fry and Finance Officer Massey's signature on 2 originals of the DASS, or the DAAS, sorry, I'm new at this role, the 731 form that's included in the board package. Any questions?
These numbers can be adjusted.
Yes, sir.
Depending on up or down.
Yes.
I think last time Randolph was maybe the only one that got an additional.
Yes, sir. These numbers also include $11,000 more than last year.
Yep.
There's some formula that I'm still trying to learn. That and a magic 8 ball, I think I figure out how they do it, but it's about $11,000 more. But several counties did not receive reductions.
That's right. Questions? Comments? All right, do I have a motion on new business item A?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the allocated amounts for Randolph Senior Adult Association and Regional Consolidated Services, to approve the RSAA as the lead agency for the HCCGB funds in Randolph County, and approve the DASS-731 funding, and authorize the chairman to sign any subsequent changes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? I will say, one of the key issues here is that the Randolph Senior Adult Association stays as the lead agency
Yes, sir.
for our senior adult program. I know there was some efforts to have some folks from the COG to take over that position.
Yes, sir.
But we're keeping it among ourselves.
Yes, sir, that's correct. We're the only county that's still
I
like
know.
that too, so,
Yes, we are,
yes, sir.
and it's served us well.
Yes.
Further discussion? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it's approved.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. Thank you, everybody.
Sir. Okay, next is the new position for a school resource officer, Steve Nunn.
Good evening, Commissioners. The first item we have is for a request for a new Deputy Sheriff SRO position, specifically for Faith Christian School. The purpose of this position will be to foster a safe and secure environment for students and staff, build positive relationships between law enforcement and school community, address any potential safety concerns, and respond swiftly to incidents, and provide education on safety and crime prevention to students. This is something that Faith Christian has requested. We do have an officer picked out for this position that Faith Christian is on board with as well. The total estimated cost for the initial 10 months of this remaining fiscal year is $75,809. Faith Christian will be covering 9 months of that, which is $65,529. That's September through May. The remaining $7,280 will be paid by the sheriff's office. This is consistent with the same contracts we do for the county schools and the charter schools. They pay for 10 months. The county picks up the other 2. We're looking at starting this September 1st. There's some one-time program cost associated with it, and then an operational fee that they'll also cover in there. The total cost for the fiscal year comes to $94,655, $86,271 by Faith Christian, and then the sheriff's office will cover $8,384 with our lap salaries. If you approve it, we ask that you approve that contract, authorize the county manager to sign it, and then approve the budget amendment as well. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
And it does not require we have the budget ordinance, but it doesn't require a change to your expense. You're paying to the county. You're funding it with lap salaries
Correct.
for this fiscal year.
Correct.
Yeah. And I do have a letter from Todd Daniel, who's the headmaster at Faith Christian School, confirming their support and their funding for this project. So we'll keep that in our record as well.
Thank you.
I think the public might like to know, if I understand it correctly, that any officer who serves in a capacity at school must have the school resource training if they spend over 19 hours a week at the school.
That is correct. That's correct, yeah. They spend 19 or more hours in any one school, then they're required to be certified as an SRO through the state.
Okay.
And this agreement is just for one year,
Correct.
and
It'll be
looked at
renewed
next
each year.
Look at it
Correct.
next year. I guess every time you come up and ask for more people, I always ask this question. I know law enforcement officers are at a premium right now. It worries me a little bit, we continue to hire. We've hired folks over in Ramseur and
Sure.
whatnot. Issues with fulfilling this position?
This position, like I said, we've already got somebody picked out. There's a retired officer from the Highway Patrol that's coming over to be there. He's met with Faith Christian. They're on board with his appointment. So,
Are there any other private schools looking to do this, or is this?
this is the only school that's approached us at this time, other than the situation up in Trinity that y'all are familiar
Right,
with.
that with the AT tax district.
Correct, yes.
Are you working with them, or are they?
Yeah, Captain Batchelor and Major Trogdon met with them last week, met with John Cable, and they're putting everything in motion
Okay,
through the school system to get that started.
okay.
Any more questions? Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to add an additional Deputy Sheriff School Resource Officer, SRO, to the Sheriff's Office and approve the contract for fiscal year 25-26, authorizing the county manager to sign the contract and approve the associated budget amendment.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion or questions? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it's approved. You have the next one, I believe.
I
Steve.
do. Next, we're asking to utilize $63,878 from our law enforcement restricted funds. These will be used to purchase body cameras and in-car cameras, specifically for our interdiction team and what we call VNets, basically a uniform vice unit. This is through Axon. We already utilize Axon body cameras, so we're familiar with their system, how it works. The in-car cameras are also Axon cameras, so it should work seamlessly with everything we already have.
It's a total of $63,878.
Yes, sir, and that's a 5-year contract for the in-car cameras, and then the body camera is a year-to-year renewal. It'll fall in with our other cameras come next year. If you approve, we ask that you approve the expenditure of the restricted funds, authorize the county manager to sign any contracts, and approve the budget amendment to the general fund. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You got the money, I guess?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Will, do you know where we are with restricted funds? I know there's
They've got several $100,000
Yeah.
to spend on restricted funds.
Just want to get that on the record. All right, any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the expenditure of law enforcement restricted funds in the amount of $63,878 for body and in-car cameras, and 2, to authorize the county manager to sign the contract, and 3, to approve the associated budget amendment.
Do I have a second? Second. Further discussion or questions? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. All right, our next item is our operating procedures for the new Ag Center, and Taylor Wright, our new coordinator, is here to lead us through this process.
It is wonderful to be here with you this evening. As the Agricultural Center begins to serve the community through meetings, programs, and special events, it is necessary to adopt clear policies to guide that facility use. We have developed a very user-friendly facility use guide, which will be available on our website so that folks can learn more about these policies from a renter standpoint. So I do encourage anyone interested in facility use to be on the lookout for that document to be posted on the website and on the Facebook. We do want to make it clear that the rates that are listed are base rates and do not include setup fees, add-ons, or other potential charges such as tables, chairs, panel setup fees, and the security deposit, which will be refundable pending a post-event facility inspection. And a certificate of insurance requirement is now explicitly stated in the contract for additional clarification. And as mentioned during last month's meetings, these rates have been set based on comparison with rates at other civic agricultural centers, and those rates have not changed since last month's meeting.
Taylor, I don't know the math of all this, but what did we use to make these rates? Are they
To set the rates?
The going rates for similar?
Yes. So, for instance, Union County, you're asking for the comparisons, correct? Okay. Union County, Simpson, and Event Center and Covered Arena is very similar to our agricultural center. They do joint booking only. So just as a reference, in Union County, to use both the arena and their event center that adjoins that arena for a full weekend day, it's $450 for the public and $400 for a nonprofit. Stanley County Livestock Arena and Exhibit Hall is $600 for a weekend day as an in-county price. The Johnston County Ag Center, a full day is $1,500 for the public. However, they only allow the public to book events 3 months in advance. So that's how they're prioritizing their internal partners and other county departments.
That's good.
I did put together a rental fee example just to help give an idea of what that might look like. So you can see the breakdown there. I have some examples of what a potential setup might look like. The top picture is a blueprint of our facility and a possible table and chair arrangement. That bottom diagram is an example of what a panel setup for a cattle production sale might look like. That's not for our facility, that's just an example that I found online. We've yet to hone in on the software that we'll be able to use to design those panel arrangements. It is important to note that those panel arrangements will be customized per each client's event expectations and specifications. Because of that, The fee that is associated with that setup will also be customized for each client based on additional time and labor needed for that setup and teardown. And the rental time is also inclusive of the time that the event host will be using the facility for event prep, such as decorating or post-event cleanup. As far as facility restrictions and security, the following are prohibited: alcohol and smoking tobacco products, weddings, birthday parties, showers, pyrotechnics, cold sparks, smoke machines, fuel-powered equipment, etc. Exceptions can be made just depending on the event, the scope of that event. Those requests will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. And gun and knife shows, trades, auctions, and sales are allowable. Additional security may be required, such as safety checks, bag inspections, extra security, checkpoints at the door, the use of zip ties on firearms to prevent handling. But we do want to make an important note that concealed weapons are not permitted inside of county buildings. The internal partners policy provides that the following organizations are eligible for facility use at no cost: the Randolph County Extension Community Association, the Randolph County 4-H Youth Development Program, the Randolph County Livestock Association, the Randolph County Beekeepers Association, and the Randolph County Future Farmers of America. All of the above groups are either formally housed under or formally partnered with Randolph County Cooperative Extension, or are a community-focused nonprofit agricultural association. In addition, Randolph County government departments will be eligible for facility use at no cost for trainings, meetings, county business. So the proposed Randolph County Agricultural Center Facility Use Guide and the Randolph County Agricultural Center Internal Policy is presented to the board for your consideration, and if no requested changes or additions, approval by the board. And at this time, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Good work.
That's a good working process. I think
Thank you.
Good starting place.
Good start for us.
Thank you. It's been a big group effort. You are looking at one small person in representing a sea of people who have helped put this together. So,
I will say it has been pretty well vetted, and there'll be changes as we go through. Each of we're probably most similar to Union County, but a lot of the other civic centers, ag centers, they are specialize in different things. So it's hard to get a reading on exactly, and it's all based on location. I think our location is a whole lot better than what I have seen. We were in Ashe County this weekend, and we had to ride through an industrial park. I don't know, is anybody, I don't see Donovan here. We went to the elite ambulance place. You drive by there, with it, evidently didn't want to do business with us. I could have checked on our ambulance this weekend. But it was in the back, and you couldn't even get to it. I mean, it was so remote. We tried to drive back in I just want to see what it looked like, and you couldn't even get to it. So they're all different, and these are going to be different, charges and whatnot, and we'll have to feel a little bit as we go along. But I know you and Joey and others have worked hard on doing the comparisons, and I think it's certainly a good start, much further along than where we started. So I think it's a good start, and as things change, we'll deal with them.
So I have a question about the catering and the kitchen part of it. It says only approved vendors, no home prepared food. So if I rent out just a room for a board meeting or something, and I want to smoke some barbecue and bring some food for that, I'm not allowed to do that?
Some of those requests will have to be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. It depends on the audience that you're serving the food to. So for instance, home-cooked food can't be prepared and then served or sold to the public. There's certain stipulations that we have to follow in regards to how that food is prepared, how it's stored, how it's maintained, health risk
But if it's
associated with that.
Right.
So it would very much have to be a case-by-case review depending on that facility use request. We'll have to follow any and all regulations related to food service.
If you're selling it, if
Or-
you're selling the food, that's what you said, right?
Selling, or it depends on serving as well, you know. Again, there's a lot of different regulations that come into play with that, which is why we'll have to just carefully review those.
And then to become an approved vendor, I mean, what's that gonna take from a catering standpoint? Do we know yet?
Yes, so we have a qualified catering contract, and that is a simple contract that any caterer can come in. They will tour our facility. They'll learn about our own internal policies and expectations that we have for any caterers that are allowed to provide services there. And then once they are on that approved list and have signed that contract, they'll be able to serve at the facility. So it's not the same as a closed catering list. If you have a catering company that wants to be added to that, it's definitely possible.
Ask her. Ask her.
Well, like, for example, like, we have the Livestock Association dinner there, will happen sooner or later, right? We got a couple people. So, like, if I make some desserts and bring it to that dinner,
Like for the livestock, we smoke all of our own and cook all the own food for the livestock meeting, and then we turn around and serve it to everybody.
Yes, I understand.
that's
I've
what I mean.
actually, yes, that is
that's
the
just-
exact example that our internal committee used, was the Randolph County Livestock Association as that example. And again, all of those situations will just have to be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. I can't give a clear-cut answer to that just because each request will be different. But we are aware of those considerations and that those requests will be coming in.
The Livestock Association would also be an associated,
caterer.
Right.
as part of like Ag Extension or anybody else, so.
An internal
I think
partner.
Internal partner, I think it's more so for those folks, it might be like having a family reunion that you bring potluck dinners and that kind of thing, where you do potentially have an issue with food service and that kind of thing.
Eat at your own risk, right?
Kind of depends on the family. I've been to some family reunions. I know who to eat and who not eat. So.
I'm gonna bring a banana pudding to your office. Okay, I just wondered.
All right, any other questions? I didn't mean to get into legalities here.
You're just talking.
Any more questions? I'm sure there'll be more down the road. I think we have a good start, and we have an excellent facility to
Yes, sir.
do these things in. That's the main thing. So. All right, I have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Randolph County Agricultural Center Facility Use Guide and the Randolph County Agricultural Center Internal Partners Policy as presented.
Second.
Further discussion? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And we're off and going.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Taylor. All right, next is a resolution recognizing the, wait a minute. Where's my agenda here? Well, there's more to it. Somewhere here. All right, we have a resolution recognizing the wave 3 of opioid settlements.
Okay,
Leah, Amy?
it's me.
All right. I'm trying to find my notes because I don't have many for this.
It's all right. So as you know, Randolph County has been involved in national litigation against those who are marketing, selling, and distributing opioids. There have been recent proposed additional settlements. Basically, there has been a
a settlement proposed by secondary opioid manufacturers. Technically, there are up to 9 defendants that have proposed a settlement, but one of the defendants is only available to certain geographical areas, not ours. So there are 8 defendants that are in the settlement that would be proposed to be part of the settlement available to us. I can read those if you would like me to, but it's a list of 8 words that are difficult for me to pronounce. So if it's okay with you, I will skip over reading them. That is approximately nationally, I think around a $720 million settlement. And then also, there has been the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy. There has been a settlement reached in that, and a settlement with the Sackler family. So, for us to take part in those 2 things, we need to opt in and approve participation in those, like we've done before. Basically, and I can give you an idea of how much money I think this is going to bring to the county, but the calculations, like they have always been, are very complicated, and I have not seen the actual breakdown. So when I give you an idea, it is just an idea. Do not hold me to it. Leah helped with the calculations quite a bit, and I don't want you to hold her to it either, because like I said, it's very complicated. For example, the 8 settlers in the 8 defendant settlement, it pays out over 10 years, sort of, because there's 8 of them, but they don't all pay out over 10 years. Some of them pay out over 10 years, some of them pay out over 1 year, some of them pay out over 4 years. It's very complicated, okay? But overall, I think from that settlement, we might get around $298,000 over somewhere between 1 and 10 years. Okay? Like I said, it's a little complicated. From the Purdue Sackler settlement, we would get somewhere around $1.8 million. I think paid out around 15 years. Again, please do not hold me to it. It's all calculated in the same way as all of the other settlements were calculated. And it all has to be spent the same way all the other money had to be spent. It all comes through that same national agreement that is then funneled through the same state MOA. So it all comes through the same way. And just like the other agreements, our participation affects all of the other municipalities. It affects the state's ability to participate as well. So if we don't participate, it could affect how much other jurisdictions in the state would actually get. So the Association of County Commissioners sent this resolution out. This is their model resolution, which would opt into both of these. So it opts into the settlement involving the 8 defendants, and it opts into the Purdue Sackler settlement. And it authorizes staff to take the necessary steps to opt into both of those.
So Amy, the resolution, and then in our budget, our agenda item, the 3rd supplemental agreement, is that to the original MOU?
Mm-hmm, it is, right. Yes. But this is like I said, this is a model resolution sent out by the association that would opt into this. So, now I honestly believe that I have given you every iota of my knowledge on this, but if you do have a question, I will attempt to answer it. Okay?
When will the money start coming? When everybody goes through this
I
process?
think, yeah, everybody has to go through this process, and then it has to all go to national, and I'm not sure when the money will start coming.
Originally, on that MOU, we used some outside legal service. Are we still doing that?
Oh, it's all going through them too, yes. Yes.
So Mr. Fox is still involved?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I assume he is. I did not receive this from him.
He is.
But I assume he is. I think I got an email from one of the other attorneys, but yes.
So do you know if any, it says counties and municipalities, or any of our municipalities getting any, do you know?
No.
I don't
so.
think any of our municipalities were involved in the litigation.
No.
So I don't think so.
Larger than counties only.
Okay, okay.
Like
Yeah, I think
large
it's
cities like
mainly,
Charlotte.
yeah, I think the only cities in North Carolina were some of the larger ones,
Well,
if at all.
it could be, just like Virginia, cities are not a part of the county.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Well, I guess we adopt the resolution and wait for the check. Any other discussion or questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make that motion. I'd like to make the motion to adopt the resolution authorizing execution of opioid settlements with secondary opioid manufacturers, Purdue Pharma LP, and the Sackler family, and approving the third supplemental agreement for additional funds.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussions? Any other questions? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And we've done our part.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, so we're going to go back now to consent agenda item E, which is the encumbrance carry forwards. And these funds are carry forwards which we have traditionally done annually with monies that were not spent from a department's budget during a fiscal year. Last year, we did not do this because of the tightness of our budget and to avoid any tax increases. So this year, there was some requests to do some of that, and about I'm not just using round numbers, about $5.5 million was encumbered by contract, by grants, by some legal binding form. The county had already committed the funds. There was about 3.2 million or so, maybe a little less, that had not, they were encumbered in that we funded these departments last year in our 24-25 budget. We gave each one of them a budget to operate their year, which ended June the 30th. And June the 30th, there are several departments that had not spent all of their budget. So they asked to expend some funds for some things they needed. That's what this involves. So I think Commissioner Rivenbark has a couple of questions.
You know, maybe it's because I'm the new guy. This is the first time I've gone through this, but it just seemed like to me a big ticket item to be on the consent and just vote and go. I guess one of the concerns and questions I have was this money. It was in the last year's budget. It's going to be part of this year's budget, but we are not approving spending over a certain amount. This money is going to follow normal regulations. Like if someone has something over a certain amount of money and they would normally come in front of us, they're still having to do that, or are we just, any of this money, they get to spend it how they want now? some of my question.
Will make that determination.
Will.
And he's good at it.
Will.
This is still going to have to follow any of our purchasing procedures that we have in place. So, yeah, for any materials that would normally have to come before this board for approval, based on our purchasing policy limits, this carryover money still would have to follow that.
Yeah, the state sets certain purchasing requirements, and we have our own purchasing policy, and one example of that is sometimes you'll see the sheriff's department show up and ask to purchase cars. Those vehicles were budgeted. We're kind of only holding them up because the value goes over the threshold where it requires your approval. Typically $90,000 for the purchase of items is the threshold. So, for example, any of the items that are being pulled forward, if any of those rules related to our own purchasing policy or obviously the state of North Carolina's would require going through the same process that any other funds would. We're setting aside dollars here, not obliging specific purchases.
Other questions?
I would also say that I think kind of a good example is I noticed in public health, there was an amount that was to be used to renovate the space that soil and water has been in. So that money has been, it's been budget, you've been hanging on to it, saving it for that. And yet soil and water can't move out until the agricultural center is finished and ready to move into, and we all know there's been a bit of a delay there. So this money is there for that purpose. It won't come out of next year's budget. It's already there. And they've saved it to use for that purpose, but they can't move on it because of that. So that's kind of the way I think a lot of this is.
Other comments?
Too simplified?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. It's a really good example. I think because, soil and water haven't moved out yet. We can't start on that. But I think it's valuable for the taxpayers. And just to switch to And just to switch to the taxpayer hat, since I seconded to pull this off and discuss it a little bit, with my taxpayer hat, I just look at it like, for example, planning and zoning has $1,600 they want to carry over. Now, I'm assuming that's not an encumbrance, it's a carryover. I can't remember which one, but it's a small amount. Okay, not that $1,600 is not a lot of money for us, or for any individual, but probably nobody's going to ask me out in public, like, hey, what's that $1,600 for at planning and zoning? But some of these other ones, which you've addressed some of the stuff at public health and emergency services, we get into more than $1 million. I just had a little bit, and I kind of agree with Commissioner Rivenbark, that, some of those bigger numbers, I mean, somebody definitely has the right to go, hey, Kenny, you approved $1.8 million for emergency service here. What's that for? And my answer is, I don't know, because that's what's in the public record. I don't know. Now, we asked for some detail, and now I know a little bit of the detail. It's just like, and if it's encumbered, we already have a PO for it, we got to pay your bill, fine, we do that all the time. And, and I'll admit, I don't think I realized in past years how large some of these numbers were that were just left over, that was like, okay, and there's this breakdown. But, I mean, I'd ask you, why'd you approve $2 million for that department? What was it for? I don't know. That's a bad answer. So I just kind of wanted a little more public eyeballs on this is what these dollars are for.
Well, we really ought to have approved it through the budget process.
Yeah.
I mean, this is from budget from last year.
Well, and it's
Well, I mean, I agree a lot of it, like her example is very well taken, and a lot of them are like that. But there are some of these numbers that include some July wish list stuff. I just came up with this, and that's what we could spend it on. But some of it.
But according to Will, we will know.
So, I just think it's
It has to go through the process.
Yeah.
You will have.
But we will know, I mean, now asking this, whatever, but I just think it's good for the public to know. I think
You will have an answer.
and I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying it's kind of good for the public to know.
Well, and I think it's good we have to have this conversation too. We have good department heads that are saving money throughout the year, and they get to the end of the year and they do have money left over. So I think
we
this
should
is a
have-
very good conversation, and applaud them for having to have this.
I mean, I think we should have a taxpayer hero day at the end of the year. If you saved $800,000, awesome. I'll buy you lunch.
Well, it could be they just didn't have a chance to spend it too, like the others, so.
But I do feel like there were and are some wish list stuff on here. So however that goes over, that's how it goes over.
Well, yeah, but I think that applies to all of us in our own personal finances. There are things that are wish list, and so we meet all the things that are absolutely necessary, and then there's money left over if we've done a good job to spend on some of those things that would make a difference in the way the job is done, or we run our households, or whatever.
But I don't get to use taxpayer money for my wish list.
But we don't.
Well,
I'd like to interject real quick that when you say wish list, it makes it sound a little bit willy-nilly or frivolous. I don't.
I'll say, I see that could be taken the wrong way, but I said it.
I don't think that frivolous would be used to describe many of the purchases that were requested here. And the department heads, you know, and we've had some department heads over the years who have come from the state of North Carolina, and their policy is spend it or you lose it. And if we didn't have this policy to try to help folks be mindful of the dollars throughout the course of the year, they would be spending it or fearing losing it, and a lot more than $3 million would end up getting spent at the end of the year, and probably on things that proved not to be the perfect fit of what we needed because they were rushed purchases. So I appreciate the discussion. I don't think it's a bad thing at all to have the discussion. Very grateful for the opportunity for our folks to look at the end of the year and find things that they realize that they need, or maybe they see headwinds in the future. Federal dollars are a real question mark going into the next year. There's some departments that specifically earmarked dollars anticipating that there's cause for concern. So like I say, very worthy conversation, but I also think very worthy asks as far as the carry forward this year.
And
I would also say I had a discussion with a department head about, about something that they want to use their carry forward for. And the reason it did not go in earlier is because they could not get an amount a specific amount from the company. So they could have just entered a large random number so that, that would be sure to cover it, and then some would be left over, or they can carry forward and use it when they get the exact number, which I personally like better, but then again, I'm not the business guru.
Well,
in
from
the
the purchasing and finance regulations, we certainly would have preferred to have a purchase order before that item was acquired or those services were
Exactly.
rendered. So
With the correct.
there's steps to be followed, and we can always do better in that regard. But if there's 25 things on this list, there's 24 reasons why it got carried over. There are different circumstances that apply.
We're the policy-making
yes,
board, and we hire folks to be managers, and that's what they've done. And I think they do a good job, and there's procedures and policies in place to protect that. So I feel comfortable that, I certainly don't want to have that $25 come before us to approve a budget amendment later on down the road, because that's what we have to be doing rather than carrying forward all this at one time. So to me, it makes sense. I don't envy those folks that have boards that do not have a paid professional staff, where it falls upon the commissioners to be responsible for doing those duties. So I feel comfortable with it.
All right, and as one final comment from staff side of things, department heads are given a date where they're supposed to submit their requests. Those are reviewed by finance first and then brought to administration, and some of those were curtailed. These aren't the whole list.
no.
There's lots of eyeballs on them throughout.
All right, other comments? Since this is not on your sheet for motion, I think that we need a motion to approve the encumbrance carry forwards and all related budget amendments.
I'll make a motion to approve the encumbrance carry forwards and the associated budget amendment.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussions, questions now? Ready to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And thank you all for the discussion, and I think that should help. County manager's update, you got?
I do have a couple quick things. One, quick recognition for one of your own. This is a letter that I have in my hand from J.D. Clark, President of NACO, the National Association of Counties. As president, it's my pleasure to appoint David Allen to the Rural Action Caucus. So we have a member of NACO's executive committee going forward and part of the Rural Action Caucus to represent Randolph and counties like Randolph throughout the land. And so congratulations, that's a big deal, and represent us well. Also wanted just to mention, last month there was some conversation that led to some questions about business personal property and taxation of farms. I want to thank Tax Administrator Hill and her team for working to get some answers and some talking points to you all, and we're glad to talk further if you got any questions or concerns beyond it, but just wanted to thank them for their efforts to get that information turned around. And if you have any questions going forward, we're glad to have those conversations. That's it.
All right. Any commissioner, do you have any comments?
I'd just like to again point out that with the funding that went out for our trails, Randolph County did really, really well, thanks in large part to the efforts of Mary Joan. I see her back there. We got we got a really huge amount from that. We got $625,000, and that was one of the largest awards given. So it will go a long ways with our trails. And so, yeah, so for those people who use our trails, they'll be excited. For the ones that don't, get out there and use them.
Mr. Chair, the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Annual Conference is in Pitt County 2 weeks away. So I looked at the agenda. There's a lot of good stuff in there as far as applicable to education-wise, so I encourage everybody to go.
Very good. We are going into closed session, and don't expect to have any business to conduct after that closed session. It involves personnel and involves economic development. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A4 to discuss matters relating to the expansion of industries and other businesses in the areas served by the public body, and pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A6 to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, and character and fitness conditions of employment of an individual employee.
Have a second?
Second.
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We are in closed session.
Y'all have that one?
Yes.
Okay, I can come by and pick it up. I need 2 copies. Yeah, 2 original. Can you sign them real quick?
Are you?
Yeah, because I got 2 right there. Thank you.